The meeting at Rita's mansion finally came to an end. As Tristan and Jaden stood to leave, Rita opened another folder. One more thing. Both stopped. Rita slid another photograph across the table. This came from an oil refinery. Jaden looked at the picture. Tristan leaned forward. The photograph showed a section of the refinery that had been broken into. No fingerprints, no evidence, no witnesses, nothing. Rita folded her arms. People think the same person did this. The one they're calling the Night Walker. Jaden immediately burst out laughing. Tristan joined him. Rita looked completely confused. "Why are you two laughing?" Tristan pointed at the photograph. "Because the Night Walker didn't do that." Rita blinked. "What?" Tristan pointed at himself. "I did." The room fell silent. Rita stared. "You?" Tristan nodded. Rita looked at the photograph again, then back at Tristan. "That was one of the smoothest break-ins I've ever seen." Tristan immediately pointed at Jaden. "His plan." Rita looked at Jaden. "The same guy I called a follower?" Jaden smirked. "The very same." For the first time, Rita looked embarrassed. She sighed. "I owe you an apology." Jaden crossed his arms. "Darn right." The meeting finally concluded. As they walked down the mansion driveway, Tristan looked at Jaden. "What do you think we should do?" Jaden shrugged. "I don't know." Tristan smirked. "I have an idea." Jaden immediately frowned. "I may not like this, huh?" "Nope." Jaden looked even more concerned. Back at Tristan's house, the front door flew open. Candace immediately ran toward them. Without warning, she wrapped her arms around both of them. "You idiots." "I was worried." Jaden laughed. Tristan smiled. "We're fine." Jaden stretched. "I'm exhausted." "I'm heading home." Tristan nodded. "I'm going to bed." Without another word, Tristan walked upstairs, entered his room, dropped onto his bed, and immediately closed his eyes. Outside, Jaden headed toward his car. "Jaden." He turned around. Candace stood at the doorway. "Get home safe." Jaden smiled, then stepped forward and hugged her. "I will." Candace immediately blushed. Jaden climbed into his car and drove away. The next morning, Tristan and Candace arrived at Jaden's house. Jaden opened the door. Tristan walked inside. "I think I have a plan to catch the Night Walker." Jaden sat down. Candace sat beside him. Jaden folded his arms. "Let's hear it." Tristan took a deep breath. "We need all hands on deck." Jaden nodded. "No kidding." I looked into him. "And?" "We're out of our league." The room went silent. Candace finally spoke. "Spit it out." Tristan looked at both of them. "We tell our friends." Jaden stared, then stared some more, then pointed at Tristan. "You've lost your mind." "We need help." Jaden shook his head. "No." "Absolutely not." Candace crossed her arms. "He's right." Jaden looked betrayed. "Seriously?" "We need everyone." Jaden groaned, then took a deep breath. "Fine. Let's call everybody." 4 hours later, pizza boxes covered the table. Sodas sat everywhere. One by one, everyone arrived. Brent, Aaron, Celine, Veronica. Nobody knew why they were there. Brent grabbed a slice of pizza. "So what's this emergency meeting about?" Jaden looked at Tristan. Candace looked at Tristan. Aaron pointed. "Just say it." Jaden nodded. "Please." Candace crossed her arms. "Tell them." Tristan sighed, then walked into another room. A moment later, he returned carrying a duffel bag. Jaden carried another. Both dropped them onto the floor. Everyone stared. Then Tristan unzipped his bag. Jaden unzipped his. The Midnight Bandit gear spilled out. Masks, gloves, equipment, everything. Nobody said a word. Brent's pizza fell onto the floor. Aaron looked completely stunned. Celine's jaw dropped. Veronica simply stared. Finally, Brent pointed. Wait. Aaron pointed too. Wait. Brent looked at Tristan. That was you two this whole time? Jaden raised his hand. Mostly him at first. Aaron looked at Jaden. Wait. You caught him. Jaden nodded. Aaron blinked. So instead of stopping him, Jaden smiled. I joined him. Candace shook her head. Aaron looked completely confused. So this whole time we were chasing Tristan? Yep. Brent pointed at Jaden. Then why did you want to come with us and capture him? Tristan laughed. Because Jaden knew the Midnight Bandit wouldn't be there. Celine immediately spoke. Obviously. Everyone laughed except Brent. Brent looked offended. Veronica had been quiet the entire time. Finally, she looked toward Candace. You knew? Candace immediately shook her head. No. The room exploded into questions. For another hour, everyone talked. Nobody could believe it. Finally, Tristan stood. We need your help. Aaron looked surprised. Help with what? Jaden looked around the room. There's more. Everyone immediately became nervous. Tristan and Jaden disappeared into another room. A few seconds later, they returned dragging a giant treasure chest. Thud. The chest landed in the middle of the room. Everyone jumped. Tristan looked at Jaden. Jaden looked at Tristan. Then together they opened the chest. The room went completely silent. Stacks and stacks and stacks of cash. Brent nearly fell out of his chair. Aaron stood up. Celine covered her mouth. Veronica stared. Candace rolled her eyes because she had already seen it. Jaden nervously laughed. Tristan nervously laughed. Nobody else laughed. Brent pointed at the chest. What? Aaron looked at the money. Celine shook her head. No way. Veronica looked completely speechless. And that's when Jaden and Tristan realized maybe bringing out the treasure chest wasn't the smartest way to start a team meeting. The room fell completely silent. No one moved. No one blinked. The treasure chest sat open in the middle of the living room, packed with stacks of cash. Aaron slowly rubbed his eyes. Tell me I'm dreaming. Brent stared at the money, then at Tristan, then at Jaden, then back at the money. You guys robbed half the city. We did not rob half the city, Tristan replied. Jaden nodded. Maybe a quarter. Candace smacked both of them in the back of the head. Aaron nearly fell off the couch laughing. You admitted it! Veronica buried her face in her hands. Celine shook her head. I cannot believe these are the two geniuses trying to save the city. Brent pointed at the chest. How much money is in there? Tristan and Jaden looked at each other. Neither answered. Everyone immediately became more concerned. Aaron's eyes widened. You don't know? Jaden shrugged. We stopped counting. The room exploded into shouting. Nearly 20 minutes later, everyone had finally calmed down. Pizza boxes were scattered across the table. Sodas sat everywhere. Aaron stood up. Okay. He pointed at Tristan. You say there's someone better than you. Then he pointed at Jaden. And somehow that's a problem. Jaden nodded. A huge problem. Brent folded his arms. Explain. Tristan took a deep breath. Then he pulled out several photographs. Warehouse photos, security footage, maps, and finally, a picture of a masked figure, the Night Walker. The room immediately grew quiet again. Celine leaned forward. So that's him? Yeah. Brent studied the photo. He doesn't look special. Tristan laughed. That's exactly what I thought. Aaron looked up. What happened? Jaden answered. He broke into 3 locations in one night. Celine blinked. 3? Jaden nodded. 3. No alarms. No witnesses. No evidence. No mistakes. Brent's smile disappeared. Okay. That's impressive. Veronica looked at Tristan. And you couldn't do that? Tristan immediately shook his head. Not even close. Everyone stared. For the first time since meeting him, Tristan looked nervous. Aaron sat back. "So what's the plan?" Tristan smiled. "That's why you're all here." Brent groaned. "Oh no." Candace crossed her arms. "I don't like that smile." Jaden sighed. "I told him this was a terrible idea." Tristan ignored him. He stood up and pointed around the room. "Brent, the best scout." Brent grinned. "True. Celine, the most observant person I know." Celine smirked. "I knew that." "Aaron, the strongest one here." Aaron flexed immediately. "Also true." "Veronica, the only person that can talk me out of stupid ideas." Veronica laughed. "That's because you have lots of stupid ideas." Everyone nodded. Candace pointed at herself. "And me?" Tristan smiled. "You're the one that keeps us from getting arrested." The room burst out laughing. Then Tristan's smile disappeared. He placed the Nightwalker photograph in the center of the table. "We find him." The laughter stopped. Rain tapped softly against the windows. Everyone stared at the photograph. And for the first time, the Midnight Bandits weren't working alone. The team had officially been assembled, unknown to them, across town. A masked figure stood on top of a water tower overlooking the city, the Nightwalker, and somehow, he was already watching them. The group sat around the hideout laughing and celebrating. For weeks, their plan had worked perfectly. The city had become completely obsessed with the mysterious wave of break-ins. Nobody knew who was responsible. Nobody could connect the crimes. Nobody could predict where the next strike would happen. Exactly as Tristan had planned. 8 days earlier, Aaron and Brent sat with Tristan and Jaden reviewing photographs of the Nightwalker. Aaron scratched his head. "We might know somebody else that could help." Tristan looked confused. Brent laughed. "The guy is a huge fan." "A fan?" Jaden asked. Brent nodded. "You'll see." A short time later, they arrived at Michael's house. Michael opened the door. Aaron immediately pointed at him. "Don't get upset." Michael blinked. "What?" Brent stepped forward. "Michael, this is Tristan." Michael nodded. "Okay." Brent smirked. "His alias is the Midnight Bandit." Silence. Michael stared, then stared some more, then pointed, then yelled. "No way!" The entire house echoed. Aaron immediately grabbed his shoulder. "Calm down." Brent laughed. Michael paced around the room. "No. No. No. There's no way." Aaron pointed toward Jaden. "That's not all." Michael looked. Aaron smiled. "Meet the second Midnight Bandit." Michael completely froze. His jaw dropped. Words failed him. For almost 30 seconds. Then suddenly, he jumped up. "This is the best day of my life." Several minutes later, everyone finally settled down. Aaron and Brent explained everything. The Nightwalker, the break-ins, the mystery, the challenge. Michael listened carefully. When they finished, he immediately stood. "I'm in." Brent laughed. "We knew you'd say that." Michael nodded. "I'll do anything to help." Later that evening, Jaden, Tristan, Candace, Celine, Veronica, Aaron, and Brent arrived at Rita's mansion. Rita stood waiting. When she saw the group approaching, her eyes widened. "You recruited an entire team?" Tristan shrugged. "We needed help." Rita laughed. Then her expression became serious. "Be discreet." Everyone nodded. Then Rita smirked, an ominous smile. Tristan immediately noticed. "What?" Rita folded her arms. "It appears you're one person short." The group exchanged confused looks. Rita smiled wider. "It appears you're trying to recruit my son." Brent's eyes widened. "It can't be." Rita turned. "Michael, come in." The mansion doors opened. Michael walked inside. Aaron pointed immediately. Brent pointed too. "You?" Michael sighed. I know. I know. Brent crossed his arms. You lied to us. Michael shook his head. Not exactly. I really didn't know who the Midnight Bandit was. My mom never told me. Rita nodded. Because I didn't know. Michael shrugged. The person she wanted me to meet today could have been anybody. He pointed at Tristan. I didn't know it was him until all of you walked up the driveway. Aaron frowned. What about that story you told us? Michael laughed. Partly true. Aaron blinked. Michael pointed outside. The house is mine. Aaron nearly choked. Brent stared. Jaden stared. Candace stared. Everyone stared. Tristan finally interrupted. We can talk about all of that later. He stepped forward. It's time to discuss the Nightwalker. The room immediately became serious. Tristan laid several files across the table. I think he feels untouchable. Rita nodded. I agree. So we're going to change that. Everyone listened carefully. Tristan pointed around the table. We create noise. We flood the city. We become impossible to ignore. Jaden smiled. And while everyone is watching us, the Nightwalker watches too. Rita's eyes widened, then she laughed. I love this plan. Candace crossed her arms. So what exactly are we doing? Tristan smiled. We're training. Weeks passed. The city became chaos. News stations reported break-ins everywhere. Jewelry stores, warehouses, food places, clothing stores. Nobody could identify the suspects. Every description was different. Every mask was different. Every costume was different. One warehouse camera captured 3 thieves wearing cat masks. Later, in a dark alley, the masks came off. Candace, Celine, Veronica. Another report described teddy bear masked thieves stealing food overnight. Hours later, the masks came off. Brent, Aaron, Michael. Jewelry stores reported thieves wearing vampire costumes and zebra masks. The disguises disappeared. Tristan, Jaden, Candace, Veronica. 8 days later. Mall security cameras captured 4 cavemen running through a parking lot wearing dinosaur masks. The footage went viral. Minutes later, the masks came off. Celine, Michael, Aaron, Brent. Meanwhile, a security guard chased 4 panther-costumed figures near a bar. The thieves escaped. They ducked into an alley laughing hysterically. The masks came off. Candace, Veronica, Jaden, Tristan. Head to the hideout, Tristan said. Everyone rushed off. Hours later, the entire team gathered inside. The room buzzed with excitement. Everyone was laughing, telling stories, comparing close calls, remembering security guards that almost caught them. The adrenaline was unbelievable. Then Tristan stood. Take everything off. Everyone paused. What? All of it. The costumes. The masks. The merchandise. Everything. The team exchanged confused looks, but they obeyed. The giant duffel bag quickly filled. We'll meet up later, Tristan said. He looked toward Jaden. Let's go. The 2 midnight bandits arrived at Rita's mansion. The massive duffel bag hit the floor. Rita opened it. Her eyes widened. She looked impressed. Very impressed. Tristan folded his arms. Scatter it. Rita blinked. What? Spread everything throughout the city. No pattern. No connection. No trail. Rita stared, then smiled. You planned all of this? Jaden nodded. Mostly him. Rita laughed. She couldn't hide how fascinated she was. Then Tristan stepped closer. Now put your most valuable possessions on display. Rita looked confused. Jaden smiled. Get everyone's attention. Slowly, Rita understood. Then her eyes widened. A masquerade ball. Tristan nodded. A huge one. The entire city will talk about it. Rita became visibly excited. I love it. She hugged Tristan unexpectedly. You're brilliant. Tristan looked embarrassed. Jaden laughed. Rita stepped back. I'll keep all of you safe. I promise. Later that night, deep in the woods, a bonfire burned. Masks, costumes, fake identities, everything went into the flames. The fire crackled. Orange light reflected across their faces. Jaden watched the costumes burn, then smiled. You know, Tristan looked over. I've never had this much fun before. For a moment, neither spoke. The flames danced. The woods remained silent. Far away, preparations for the masquerade ball had already begun, and somewhere in the darkness, the Nightwalker was watching, waiting, smiling, because for the first time, someone had finally challenged him.